Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harding. Glad to be back. I hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. Too fast, went too quickly. But here we are, Sunday night, September 28th, almost October as well. But before we get started, I bring in my returning guest. Hit my music. Let's get it. All right, once again, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harding. Glad to be back with a new episode. Hope everyone's enjoying their weekend. Football Sunday as well. Hope your teams won. Mine did. The Eagles 4-0. And the close game with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, too close. They had a big lead and almost blew it, but they found ways to win. That's been the motto of the Eagles this season, these past 20 games actually. And but I hope everyone enjoyed some football over the weekend, college and pro and high school as well. But before we get started, you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple. We're also on YouTube, BS3 Network, BS3 Network TV, BS3TV BS3TVLive.com, BS3 Network on the Roku channel as well. And you can also find us on, like I said, iHeartRadio and all those platforms, wherever you consume podcasts. And you can follow me on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and TikTok. All right, let me bring in my guest. Returning guest back to the show. It's been a couple of years, but a lot has changed over those 2 years. So I'm very excited to bring her back. We had a great conversation the last time. You can check it out on the, like I said, all the podcast platforms and on my pages as well. But I'm bringing it back into the show. Jessica Eley now is the let's see, let me get this right. Florida High School Athletic Association. She's going to be doing sharing stories of incredible athletes all across Florida and their journey. So we're going to get into her new position, new job. She's a sports reporter. She's done a lot of different things in media as well. So Jessica, welcome back to the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. Appreciate the time. And like I said, the last time we talked a couple of years ago, we've been following each other's careers and paths. So again, congratulations on the new new job and everything too. But how's everything going with you these last couple of years?
Everything's been going well. It's
Yeah.
definitely a change of pace with my job. I have to say my team won, also the Chiefs. I
Oh
just
yeah, they
watched them.
dominated Baltimore.
Yes,
Yes,
I
they
just
did.
watched them beat Baltimore, so that was good because they got off to a rough start this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
But the last 2 years, a lot has changed. I still consider myself a reporter, but I
Mhm.
am doing
Yeah.
like more. I am doing like public relations now, but I'm also still doing storytelling. But it's storytelling from the angle of the Florida High School Athletic Association. So I'm like, we'll be
Right.
telling stories about like just different events that are happening with the FHSAA and athletes, coaches, communities, just to kind of highlight what the Florida High School Athletic Association is doing, like the good things they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And as you said, yes, new position as administrator of public relations, multimedia specialist. Yeah, that's big, huge for you, and I'm so happy for you on that. So again, congratulations on your new position, and we'll get into that. And you'll always be a sports reporter for
Yes.
sure. I know you're still gonna have that, and I know you're going to. You said you're just telling the stories, just like I said, different change of pace and
Yes.
things like that.
A lot
So
slower.
yes, but you're still gonna be sharing stories as you
Yes.
did as a sports reporter and everything too. But so I'm glad to have you back on, and like I said, I really appreciate that as well. But let's get into it. Let's get into your new position as that administrative public relations and multimedia specialist for Florida High School Athletic Association. Talk about what it entails. We'll talk about how you got there to this position. You just announced it like 2 weeks ago. So talk about that process to where you got that the new position.
Yeah, well, I'm about to start my third week at the
Yeah.
FHSAA. It feels like I've worked here 3 months already.
Okay.
But yeah, my contract was up with Fox here in Orlando, and I was like trying to decide if I wanted to stay in TV or if I wanted to just take a different kind of pivot in my career. I do have a son, so I was like looking to spend more
Oh yeah,
time,
yeah,
yeah, with my son, and you just can't get that time back with your family members. I've had like a lot of family members pass away in the past few years, and it's just made me
yeah,
kind of reevaluate like my career and life and like the importance of things. So I knew that I wanted to still be in sports and do the storytelling thing, but I didn't know how it was going to work out, honestly. But this job came open at the Florida High School Athletic Association, and it's funny because I got the offer from them like the day after I had a reporting offer, like a offer for a job to be a reporter at a local TV station, like a morning reporter. And I was like, okay, do I want to stay in TV or do like I want to take this break and
yeah.
do this? So like this, like I honestly feel like God worked it out like
Yes,
perfectly. Yeah,
always.
because I was like I was really worried. I was like, is everything going to work out? But like everything literally came together, and it's like everything I prayed for. It's a better schedule. It's still the sports storytelling. I'm still very involved in sports here in Florida, which I've been for the past 4+ years. And my role is important because like what I'm doing is affecting uh everyone in the state of Florida
Yeah.
with their sports. Yeah, so it's actually like to me it's more a higher I have a higher visibility now with my job.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it so far. It's been like 3 weeks, but I really like it so far.
I love that's great. And like you said, you like said being a reporter on TV and everything does with that is was it more as you said a change of pace and you said you wanted to take a different approach to this new with this new position and everything too. Was it more burnout or just you said missing a lot of different things? I'm sure it was very busy as you said as a TV reporter and everything too. Just the way the
Yeah.
schedule is and everything too. Was it just more for like a mental thing too and everything? Because like you said, sometimes you just need that break and
Yeah.
everything too. Was it more on that regard, or just you said you want to spend time? You said your mother too. On top of that's the most. I'm sure that's the most important for sure. Being a
Yeah.
mother is the most important. So was it just more like said not the burnout or anything like that?
I think it was a little bit of everything. Like
Mm,
I was feeling really burnt out. Like the news cycle is like constant and
yeah.
it's just like it just feels never ending. Like even when you're not at work, it feels like you're at work. And I have been in the TV industry for this is my 10th year. Like my first job was in Mississippi, Greenville, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah, October 2015 was the first time I ever worked on TV, like after I had graduated from Syracuse. And I just feel like like I said, I was burnt out and I was just reevaluating things in my life. And I've made lots of friends at my different stations that I've worked at throughout my career. And like one of my really good friends, I was visiting her in New York in May, and she used to be a TV reporter, and now she's in PR, and she's like so happy. And I was like asking her
Mm,
about it. I'm like, do you miss working in TV? And she was like, sometimes I kind of miss it, but like I think about my schedule and like my work life balance and
oh yeah.
how good my life is now. And she was like, are you thinking about getting out? And I was like, I mean, I might take a break. I don't I don't really
Yeah.
know
Get out.
yet,
Right.
but yeah,
Right.
but just seeing how happy my friend was. And I remember she was like never stressed, but she just looked very happy.
Mm,
And I am looking for happiness and like work life balance, and I feel like I'm getting that more now. Like I get to work from home
mm,
sometimes at my job, I get to work out in the field. It's like what I was doing but just in a different way, and it's still like I said, like the storytelling aspect and journalism, and I'm the liaison now between the FHSAA and reporters, but I'm also like doing my own stories to like highlight. So it's just like it's a really good position. I feel like it was almost created for me.
oh yeah, that's that's
Yeah.
that's really good. And
Yeah.
you're right. I think our mental and just then it's finding that work life balance, and also you said better schedule and and that work life balance, a better schedule. And you said you want to, spending more time with, your son and family and just in general. That comes that's the president. And I think we talked about this before about, the work life balance of just being your best self when you can be your best self, when you have your mental and your physical, everything is right. And you talked about it again on God's time too. And it just was more, okay, take a little break from TV, but another door just opened. Like you said, they were already looking, asking you about it already, or
Yeah.
offering you some position. And it's just like the timing, it was just right. It just seemed like, now you said, now just a little bit, you're happier, and now you said the schedule's better.
For sure. Yeah, I remember like I kept talking to my parents about it like all summer, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna find anything. And they're like, you just need to pray and like
Yeah,
trust that God's gonna work
yeah.
everything out. And I was just like, God, I'm trusting you, but it still felt like like things weren't gonna work out. Like that's what it felt like. I'm just being honest. And it almost felt like in the final hour, like when I really needed to find a job, it was in August, like all these jobs just started like calling me back, and
Mm,
like I
yeah.
started getting offers, and I was like, wow, I thought I was just gonna be unemployed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
it
that's a
worked out.
scary thing. And that's a scary
It is
thing
scary.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I know with job, my job, we changed. They got bought out, but then they kept a lot of us anyway. But even just during that time frame, it was it was the unknown. Like how many are they going to
Uncertainty.
key uncertainty? Yes,
Yeah.
and so I totally get that. And I think even for media is such a what it, just that you really don't know, like, you for a couple years, and then me is just ever changing, it's always
Yeah.
evolving and things like that. And you said your contract was coming up, and you're like, okay, where do I go from here? And you said you prayed about it, and now like you're in a position where you said you can now work from home and still tell the important things that that you love
Yeah.
to do, is report and tell stories and things like that too. So what does the position, what does it entail? Like you said, it's storytelling, and like I said, the state of Florida, and
Yeah.
everything too. So, and how important is it to you, which I already know, but how important is it to you, the storytelling of these athletes and coaches and things like that?
Yeah. So like I said, this is like the work week starts for me tomorrow, and I think this is my third week. It's either my third or my fourth
Yeah.
week. And like so far, we had a big announcement like my second week here, where the we made the announcement that the high school the basketball state championships were moving from Lakeland, which is near Tampa, up to Jacksonville. And the state championships had been played in Lakeland for like over 30 years. So I got to write the press release for that. And it was like a really big deal. We had a press conference up in Jacksonville. I did a little video story to talk about the big news. So that was like my on-camera reporting.
Mm.
I wrote my big boss, the executive director, I wrote his speech for him that he was going to say at the press conference. And I got like video of the new venue. I don't know, it just felt like really important what I was doing, because this was like a huge announcement
Yeah.
that was me being made in Florida. And yeah, so I've done that. It kind of changes from day to day. Of course, after that, I had to answer a lot of emails from reporters talking about like,
Yes.
well, why are you guys moving? So we had to come up with a statement. We had a Hall of Fame banquet last
Oh,
Sunday,
yeah.
yeah, for the FHSAA. So I got to once again put on my reporting hat, and I interviewed all the inductees, and I put a little video package together of the event, and it felt really great because I put the story together, we put it out there on YouTube and like our social media channels, and like my bosses were like, "This is great, this is awesome." I was
Oh,
like, "Wow,
wow.
somebody appreciates our work."
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it was really nice. But that's kind of like what I've been doing so far, and just like um I've been trying to find like different stories around Florida where it can highlight these athletes. And I think it's really important because we have like great athletes in the state of Florida, high school
Yeah.
athletes. Like you watch the NFL, and a lot of these athletes, like Hollywood Brown, he scored for the Chiefs. I'm like, oh, he's from down in Miami.
Yep. Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So we have like great athletes down here who are I guess they play on the big stage every Saturday in college football, Sunday. So we're just trying to find them like at the high school level and kind of
Right.
highlight their stories. So that's really important to me, just to shine a light on like the positivity that's going on around the state, because there's a lot of, kind of dark things happening right now, and just,
Yeah.
yeah, just unhappy things happening. But I think sports is kind of a way to take a break from some of the more serious things happening around the country and the state.
Absolutely, and sometimes that's the escape too of
Yes.
reading something, or at least as you said, you're reporting something positive, and highlighting whether it's athletes, coaches, other reporters, maybe just whatever's going on positively. You said with the dark times we are living in, for
Yes.
sure, and everything too. And you talk about big, like I said, posting a lot of things on social media. How have you adapted with your storytelling reporting style from the various platforms you've worked on, from traditional TV news to social media?
That's a good question. I would say I feel like with social media, people have like a very short attention span.
Mm,
So I don't think people want to always see like long form content. Like maybe if it's
right.
a big time athlete like a Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts or someone like that, people will sit down and be like, okay, I actually want to watch the interview.
Yeah.
But I think for like my level that I'm doing, like high school sports, I don't think people want to sit there and watch a 5 minute or five
Right.
minute plus, yeah, interview of these athletes or coaches. So we're trying to find, or at least what I've been trying to do is put like shorter clips together,
Right.
so where it's like attention grabbing, but it's also showing um like what we're doing at the FHSAA. I did do a longer story with like the Hall of Fame story. I think that was like a minute 30. We put that on our Instagram. I don't run the Instagram pages, but we did put that on our Instagram and it did pretty well. But that, I think that's because it was like highlighting different people. But like for the Jacksonville announcement with the basketball championships, I just put like little clips together,
Yeah.
showing the new venue, and like I just put a little title over it to say like what was happening. Like, the FHSAA is moving the basketball state championships from Polk County up to Jacksonville, and that did really well too. So I think people are getting their news like on social media. So you just have to find a way to like grab their attention, kind of make it shorter
Yeah.
and not boring.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think reels and, as you said, just clips of things. Yes, there's still definitely still room for long form, when it comes to long form stories, and
for sure.
when you want to get those in depth. I still love that. I love those like long form interviews, or you said storytelling, anything like that. But then there's also room for those clips, a minute reels, 2 minute reels. You said the attention span with social media,
Yeah,
it just changes every minute, every 5-10 minutes. There's always something new and things
yeah.
like that, and everything too. Do you like what you said, when you're looking for stories like that? Are you, you're out in the field and things like that, but are you searching around social media, that's like say just using it from that perspective? So like you said, trying to highlight these athletes, especially high school athletes, like, oh, look, maybe they have a social media, maybe they, just trying to find different stories and different different perspectives of to how to cover that certain athlete or coach.
For sure. Yeah, because athletes are always on TikTok.
Yes,
They're always,
always. Yeah.
yes, they're always
Snapchat. Yeah.
yes, they're always posting to, like, TikTok. I don't feel like they're as the younger crowd. I don't feel like they're as active on Instagram.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, but TikTok is
Yeah.
definitely their
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
And you can find a lot of stories just
hmm
by typing in, I don't know, like Jones High School, he's here in Orlando, Jones High School, or whatever high school, or you type in an athlete's name and stuff comes up and you're like, oh, that's what you guys are doing. Like, that's interesting. Yeah. And a lot of
Yeah.
them have interesting stories. So it's, I feel like the way social media is right now, it's definitely interesting, because it used to be like you had to wait until the story came out, like in the
Yeah.
newspaper or on TV stations, or on the TV rather. But now it's like these athletes are able to like put their story out there first, and then it's like, hey, can we interview you? Can we
Yeah.
get this? Yeah, so it's kind of like they're controlling their own story, which is like kind of cool. It's definitely different. It's changed.
Yeah, that's definitely changed, and I think that's a good thing with social media. Yes, there's all. I always talk about. We always talk about this. I always talk about this on the podcast where social media it can be used and like I said, very for good things. I mean, yes, there's some negatives, a lot of negative too, but also like I said, find some good stories on social media and for research purposes and things like that too. So again, congratulations on the new position. I know
Thank
you'll do
you.
well. You'll do well and looking forward to seeing what's upcoming for you on that. So, all right, let's talk about. You said Orlando. Got to talk about Orlando Magic heading into this past season or this next season, new season coming up. I know they just had their media day. I think yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, day before. And I'm sure there's some buzz coming for Orlando. The Magic with the Eastern Conferences. I know football season's
Wide
here, and
open.
yeah, and then Eastern Conference wide open. I know football season's here, and and baseball just the last regular season of playoffs, but basketball's right around the corner. NBA's right
Yeah.
around the corner. So, like I said, media day and training camps is starting and everything too. So, how's the buzz? What they said, the Eastern Conference is super wide open. What's the what you've been hearing about with the Orlando Magic? And like I said, it got a real big chance to really make some noise in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are excited about the
Mm-hmm.
Magic and their chances. I think it was since 2021 they had like progressively been getting better,
Yeah.
and
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like last year was supposed to be like their almost like their breakout year.
Yeah.
But then they had like all those injuries, like Paolo
Mm-hmm.
got hurt, Franz got hurt, Jalen Suggs got hurt, Mo Wagner, he like missed the entire
Yep.
season after or not the entire season, but he missed the rest of the season after he got hurt. So it's like they couldn't really find their like footing. And I think it was like March or April, somewhere towards the end of the season. There was like a stat that had come out that like the core group of players, so like Jalen, Paolo, and Franz, they had only played together like it was like a very short amount of
Yeah.
time
Mm-hmm.
together. Yeah, and it was super disappointing because I don't know how much you fought like if you're like a really really big NBA fan or know about other teams, but like Paolo had like a really good first few games last year, like last season to start
Yep.
out. Like I think he had dropped like 47. It was like a really high, like he was doing really well. Like
Yes.
for shouting like MVP, MVP, like they thought he was going to be MVP in Orlando, and then he got hurt, and
Yep.
it just seemed to like spiral out of control after that. I mean, they were still able to make the play-in tournament, win that, and played Boston, but I think this year is like the year that they're like ready to like actually win.
I
Because
do
during their
too.
exit interviews last year, Jeff Weldman, he's the president of basketball operations for the Magic, he was saying that they're not satisfied with just making the postseason now. Like they actually want to win. Like they want to start winning now. And I think that's why they made the acquisition with Desmond Bain, and then they got
Yeah.
Tyus Jones. So they're like ready to win now. They got their shooter here, and it'll be interesting to see like how they mesh and like kind of I guess what they look like this year after like the struggles last season.
Yeah, and you're right. I think it was the injuries really derailed their season, and it was because Orlando was going to be one of those top teams,
Yeah.
especially early on. It looked like okay, now there's building, they're building,
It was
and then
exciting to watch them
yeah,
early in the
I'm
season. Yeah.
sure, yeah, and then too, like I said, some of their main players got hurt, and they were injured, they were in and out of the lineups, and so some that missed the entire season, the rest of the season, and yeah, so it just that. But it seems like now, said getting Desmond Bain and getting Tyus Jones. I think now they gotta to get their point guard. Desmond Bain brings veteran leadership, defense, shooting, and everything too. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that meshes together. But like we said, in the Eastern Conference, is totally wide open
Yeah.
because there's really no favorite. I mean, I guess you could say the Knicks could be the favorites
Yeah.
just by kind of default, not even default, but they got to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. But
Yeah.
Indiana now dealing with it, dealing with Halliburton being out, so you don't know what they're going to look like. And then you have the Milwaukee Bucks, Dame being traded, and so that and injured, and he got traded, so you don't know how they're going to look. So the Boston Celtics losing Tatum and then losing others like Porzingis and Drew Holiday. So some of the favorites that was at the top now, I think teams like Orlando, Detroit, they got a really good shot to really that top of the East is very wide open.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just time for them to make that next step. Like there's
Yeah.
only so many years and seasons that you can
Yep.
say, at least they tried, at least they made
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
postseason. I'm so happy. It's like, okay, yeah, you made the postseason. Yeah, you got more wins this year, but what else?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, so I
Exactly.
think I think it's time, and I think I'm hoping that we will see like progression in them, and I believe that we will. Like I think last year, the injuries, like we said, was just kind of derailed them, but I think it'll be better for them this year.
I do too. Like I said, I think Bain and Tyus Jones bringing what that experience and shooting. That was another thing that Orlando
Oh,
was lacking.
yes,
They're bringing 3-point shooting. Bain averaged over 19 points in the last 3 seasons, and also 41% career 3-point shooters. Exactly what
yes,
they need because Orlando, they said they shot a league low 31% last season, so that's going to help. Tyus Jones also shooting 41% from the three as well, and his assist turnover ratio is tremendous. So yeah, so again, 3-point shooting, steady hand at the point guard position with Tyus Jones. So yeah, I think Orlando's going to make some noise for sure.
yeah.
As long as they can stay healthy, and then I think Paolo Banchero's going to again ascend even more.
I think
Uh,
so too.
just as to that superstar level, that he's already there, and now it's just taking that next step, as you said, leading this team past the first round of the playoffs, and hey,
Yeah,
they definitely can make some noise for sure.
for sure. I'm really excited to see the team or the season tip off. I think they play the Heat on October 22nd. So
I think so.
yeah,
Yeah.
so not too long.
Yeah, not too long. Like I just said, basketball is going to be here right in the middle. Hockey's going to be like the month of October with
Yeah.
the NFL, being in
When
like week
all three major
five.
sports are like
Yes,
yeah, and baseball.
baseball playoffs, and
Yes.
then college football, NFL. Then we got the NBA, then NHL. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a lot coming up. I
Yes.
can't wait to see how that all transpires as well. So but everything you got going on, and you talk about that work life balance and everything too. How are you going to find that when it comes to like, man, there's so much going on in sports. How are you going to be able how do you do that with everything, that balance of trying to find those things. Like I can still cover, I'm covering high school, but I can still cover some of these other stories with some of the major sports as well.
Yeah. I think like right now I haven't figured that out yet. Like I'm still trying to
Yeah.
get my
Yeah.
footing with
Right.
my new job, and I want to make sure that I'm like well rested
Yeah,
for
for
that job.
sure.
Like I have to go to bed like not super early, but like a little bit earlier now because I live in Orlando, but the office is actually in Gainesville. I do not have to go up there
Ooh.
every day. Yeah, it's a haul, but it's not too bad in the morning. It's like an hour and a half drive, but I do have to wake up super early. But the great
Mhm.
thing is I get off early and I'm able to pick up my son from school, and we're able
Yeah,
to
that's a
to
good
do
thing.
yeah, to do stuff in the afternoon, evening. But like maybe like after I get more settled in, I will start to kind of look to see like, oh, like can I do some freelancing here or there or whatever, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing too. I was going to ask about the freelance aspect of it too, and what's like some of the favorite things you would, as like you say, when you get your footing and get everything all situated, like some of your favorite things you're going to love about now that freelance thing, because I've had a lot of people from media on the show, and they talk about freelance and now more freedom, things like that too. But yeah, once you find that balance, because that was the question would be, with the freelancing, having that freedom now that you can say,
For
hey, I can
sure.
go out there and get other stories that I might not be able to, I could get on TV, but now that I'm freelance, I can really dive into that aspect of sports reporting.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, it's funny because I think I mentioned this earlier in this show and podcast, but I did have like an offer for a job like at a TV
Mm.
station
Yeah,
here in Orlando, another TV station, but it was like a morning reporter, so it was like a freelance position too. So I was like trying to think, I was like, okay, should I do this? And then I could like cover sports at night. And then that's when I
yeah,
was like, you know what? I just think I need a break right now
yeah,
in
right.
general from TV because
Mhm.
I feel like I've been like grinding it out for like 10
Right.
years, and um it does feel weird, like not working in TV right now, but I just felt like I needed to do this for like my mental health and
Yeah.
just for what's going on in my life right now.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
definitely. And like you said, that we talked about earlier, the mental health thing is it's super important for sure. Because like I said, you're your best self when you're, like I said, when your mental and everything is right is
Yeah.
in everything too. So all right, just got two more, as you said. It's getting late here. I'm like I said, I'm in Philly, so I know how it is about going to bed early and just trying to
Yes.
make sure. And you said starting, you're ready. You said tomorrow, ready to rock and roll. So, but just two more before I let you go. I was gonna ask about the growth of women's sports and everything too. Thoughts on it? And for sure, it's been growing for years and now, but it's really what it is and what needs to happen for that next growth to continue the momentum of women's sports.
Yeah, I think when people talk about women's sports growing, a lot of times the WNBA is just mentioned and like the growth of that, but you can see like there's growth in like many just different several different
Yeah.
sports like
Yes.
women's volleyball. College volleyball is now being played on like major networks instead of just being on ESPN2 or ESPN. ESPN is major, obviously, but they're like on. I think they have a contract with CBS, and there's like other networks, and that's huge. Like I played college volleyball at a mid-major school, but I never imagined seeing volleyball like on a CBS,
Hmm.
or the fact that there's a professional sports or professional volleyball league here in the United States now. Like it used to be where if you wanted to continue playing volleyball, you had to go over to Europe or to
Yeah.
Asia or the Middle East to play, and now there's like an option for these women to continue their career here in the US. I think that's showing a sign of growth. The NWSL, I think it was last year, said they had like their highest viewership.
Yeah. Something like that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and they played the championship in Kansas City, at the first women's soccer, or the first. It was like the first stadium for a women's sports team, I think, in the whole world.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's what we're seeing is like an investment in women's sports, with TV contracts, with just like different things. And I think that's why people are getting more excited right now about the sports, and we're seeing a growth and young girls wanting to participate in sports. So I think it's really cool to see like in the WNBA with like all the coverage they've been getting with the Caitlin Clark stuff, and Angel Reese from a year ago. I think it's kind of
Yeah.
carried on, and people, a lot of sports fans have kind of, from what I've seen, have been drawn to women's college basketball, the
Mm.
WNBA, because of the storylines that um, have been, I guess, highlighted. I think a lot of the growth also has to do with reporting.
Yeah. Yes.
Or yeah,
Hmm.
like if
Definitely.
no one knew about the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese saga in college basketball, was that 2 years ago now when that
Yeah. 2 years
happened?
ago. Yep. two
Yeah,
years
two
ago.
years
Yep.
ago. I think the media, I think the media like created this narrative and this storyline, and even though I feel like it did kind of turn toxic, it was interesting, and people were kind of hooked to that,
Hmm.
and because of that, there was more eyeballs on women's basketball, the
Yeah.
WNBA, and I think that's good, and I think it just shows that if you highlight interesting stories in women's sports, people are interested, but you just have
Hmm.
to send someone to cover those sports and
Right.
find those interesting stories that people, would kind of, I guess, will want to tune into those sports to kind of see the storylines or follow those storylines.
Yes, I agree 100%. And I've said this for years. I said it on camera. I said it when I've talked, with just talking with amongst friends and, with my wife and others. We talked about, I always say women's sports has always been here. It's always been. It's just, as you said, networks, when networks and sponsors and all these big companies invest, people will watch. People will watch. People love storylines. You talk about that, and like I said, yes, the WNBA. When women's sports is brought up, it's a good point. It's always WNBA, and that has grown tremendously, and women's college basketball is grown tremendously, but you said there's others too. There's volleyball. There's soccer. Uh, I love what Unrivaled has done, and they're going into their second year with a 3-on-3 basketball league, and but there's other sports, volleyball. There's all these different sports that being invest softball, like it's on major networks. Again, you put it on a major network, and they invest. People are going to watch, and then they love storylines, and I just love. I'm loving it, seeing the growth. And you're right, when reporters are able to cover it, and they're sent down to cover it, it's exciting. We just had track and field. We just had the
Yeah.
world championships in track and field. The women were dominant, and
Yeah.
that from
Was it
Cindy
Melissa
McLaughlin,
Jefferson?
Jefferson Wooden, and
Yes. Yeah.
Cindy McLaughlin Lavroni, and I mean these are names that they're invested in. So yeah, and it got the coverage. So yeah, the more coverage it is, the more people are going to be invested, the more people are going to watch, and there's storylines. It's very important. It's very needed, and I'm glad to see it continue to keep growing. And even growth in media too. Same thing with like I said, with reporters and media and journalism. It's all growing, and I love being a big advocate of it. I love seeing it.
Yeah, I was gonna mention track too, because even the last Olympics, I feel like the
And Olympics, yeah.
stars of the
Mhm.
Olympics were the women on the track
Yes,
team.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like we heard about Noah Lyles also, but it was like Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yep.
My mind's going blank right now, but the Gabby
Gabby
Thomas.
Thomas. Yeah, Gabby
Yeah, she
Thomas.
won
Like you
3
said.
gold medals, and
Yeah.
Sydney
Mm-hmm.
McLaughlin, and
Yep.
yeah, so it's just a matter of, like you said, coverage and those
Yeah.
storylines and getting the eyeballs on the sport, and they're showing that they are deserving of the coverage.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I really I love seeing it, and it's going to continue to keep growing because it's not going anywhere. And for those that are saying, you have the people that say, well, no, women's sports is here. It's here to stay. It's here to keep growing. And
And like you said, it's
just
been here.
it's been here. It's been
Yeah.
here. Yeah, it's been here. Now, just said, just more networks are involved, and sponsors and all these things. Yeah, it's big. It's big to see. It's good to see the continued growth. All right, last question before I let you go. I was going to ask, the future. What is a story or type of covers that you haven't done yet, but would love to have the opportunity to pursue?
Ooh. Um, I guess what I would like to do, possibly, I would like to do more long form
Hmm.
content. Um, in local television, you only have but so much time
Yeah. Yes.
for a newscast, especially a sports cast or a sports story is usually like buried
Mm-hmm.
towards the bottom of the newscast. And I feel like there are so many opportunities that are missed because of that, because you have to shorten something and make it a minute and a half, or at the longest a minute and 45. So I think something I would like to do is I would love to interview athletes and coaches, and but just make it more long form interviews and long form storytelling. I've always thought that was interesting to kind of find out what makes the person tick, like what is it about them. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's more interesting than just seeing them play, these athletes play like on a Sunday, Saturday. I remember when the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl, back when it was like their first trip to the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, and one of the local TV stations in Kansas City went to Tyler, Texas, and talked to like his former basketball coach, because he played basketball at
Yeah.
his White House High School. They talked to like his former his football coach. They talked to like different members of the community. I thought that was so interesting, and it was a long
Yeah.
story. I'm pretty sure they won an Emmy for it, which they deserved.
Mm.
But it was
Yep.
so interesting to like see what made Patrick Mahomes, and like, okay, what is this guy? What is making this young quarterback? What is it about him that we like, or how did he grow up? Just kind of like all that stuff. And it was like super interesting. And I would like love to do stuff like that. So if the
Okay.
opportunity comes around, like I'll definitely take it.
Yeah, for
But yeah,
sure.
but that's something I've never really gotten to do, and I've always wanted to do that.
That's great. Yeah, that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you about, something that you would love to do, that pursue, that you would like to do, and everything too. So yeah, the long form, like we talked about earlier, is needed, especially more in depth of things. And you're right. You didn't. You said when you worked on TV, you didn't have a lot of time to really cover. Like, yes, you have that whatever, 30 seconds, minute, 2 minutes sometimes, to tell a story. It's almost like a reel in a
Yeah.
way, but you can now, like you say, you could package like a story where you could tell a long form, and to get the more in-depth stories as well. So that's looking forward to you pursuing that, and really
Thank
doing your
you.
thing on that. Yes, for sure. Well, Jessica, thanks again. Really appreciate the time, appreciate the conversation again. Glad we got to connect once again. And like I said, appreciate the time, and let everyone know they can follow you on social media, follow your journey on that new position. And if they have questions or advice, that, if they ask for advice how to get into, sports reporting and working on TV and things like that. But yeah, let everyone know they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, my Instagram is _ Jessica Eley. So that is JESSICA ELEY. Then my TikTok is Jessica Eley TV. So
Okay.
Jessica ELEY TV. Twitter, I actually forgot my Twitter handle, but I'm not that active on Twitter, so it doesn't matter. But you can just type in Jessica Eley. I'm sure there's not that many in the world. And that's it. And you can
Oh,
like reach out to me if you have any questions about sports reporting or getting into TV, any of that. I usually answer pretty quickly
yeah, you do. You
within a
you
day.
do. Yes, you
Yeah, I
have.
try.
Yeah, always. You answered me very quickly. We've been we conversate off, just off camera, and
Yeah.
through social media and everything too. But I like I said, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Thanks again. Many blessings. Again, congratulations on the new position, and I look forward to seeing what you got coming up. And yeah, and follow Jessica on those platforms, and reach out if you have questions or need advice on how to get in, like I said, how to get into sports reporting. And yeah, looking forward to everything. And we'll do this again. Hopefully it won't be 2 years.
I
We'll
know.
we'll conversate. No, but like I said, busy, and you said you've been moving and doing a lot of different things. So it's, yeah, hey, you're busy, and everything too. Mother first, and then
Yeah,
and everything. So
it's a
totally get
lot.
it. Yeah, yes. So I appreciate your time, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and have a good week. And talk to you soon.
All right, thank you. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Jessica. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.